A very warm welcome to the participants of the Proteomics Advanced Winter School 2021. Presented by Proteomics Lab, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Day 4, Targeted Proteomics. Lecture 3, Skyline and Panorama.
So in this session, we are going to first start very brief theoretical knowledge about PRM, parallel election monitoring. We'll then talk about Skyline session, which we stopped earlier. And we'd also like all of you to analyze the data which we have shared with you so that you can look into how best to gain confidence about refinement. And then we will show you some data on Skyline about how to compare the MRM versus PRM data and where you can get an edge from PRM or MRM. And then finally, brief introduction about panorama sessions. So coming to PRM or parallel election monitoring, which is quite revolutionary in nature, right? When we talked about triple quadrupole based MRM assay, multiple election monitoring assay, our considerations were that in the first quadrupole, the Q1, we are going to select few precursors which we have idea based on our peptide analysis, and those we want to monitor further and look at their Q3 fragments to find out the overall transitions, right? In this case, we are using a different instrument configuration, which is you start with the quadruple only, but then you use Orbitrap. So now with the Orbitrap configuration here, you are not restricting yourself to only select few precursors, unlike what we did in the quadrupoles with the triple quad based quadrupole method. Here you are saying, okay, all the possible precursors can be taken forward and you are going to generate MSMS spectra for those. So theoretically, you are actually having capability of validating really, infinite number of peptides here, and you can develop the assays for large number of peptides. So from the comparing the two instrument configuration, what we spoken for MRM, that actually involved two quadruples, Q1 and Q3 with the collision cell. In this case, with the PRM, we are looking at quadruple along with the Orbitrap. And as you can see, for different proteins, let's say you want to select these specific yellow colored peptides, which you have shown here. And now you want to look for their entire transition and want to develop the assays for that. So unlike the MRM method, you don't have to select the transitions here. You don't have to do a lot of refinements and optimization, but rather you can select all of these peptides, look for their, with the same collision energy which was optimized earlier, and now you can develop the assay for all of these peptides. So as I said, theoretically it's much more lucrative, much more comprehensive in nature, and practically only recently we started making use of this, to its full potential, and it will be really interesting discussion to see how we can look into MRM versus PRM data sets. But we don't want to make it the sessions very much lecture oriented, so we do want to have more hands. And this session is primarily going to continue on the Skyline where we left before lunch, but also we have given you some data file and we want really all of you to start doing this analysis. What will be really good idea that along with us you are doing the analysis yourself, and some questions in the quiz today will be actually coming from what analysis you are doing. So please be prepared and be ready for that. Let me now invite Meher to continue this session on Skyline, which is an open access software available from Mike McCaw's group, developed by Brendan McLean and his group. And it is really a very user-friendly software, given that Brendan had actually, maybe 15 plus years of experience working in Microsoft. So the software which he developed was very user-friendly. And I'm sure when you start using it, you will appreciate the ease of using the software for target analysis part. And keep in mind that, unlike whichever instrument you are going to use, whether you use Orbitrap or quadruple based stuff or QTOF, whatever you are using, you have to come to Skyline for data analysis part, because this is being supported, and all the vendors, all the instrument companies, they are actually utilizing the Skyline. So therefore, you have to learn Skyline software. Let me request everyone to mute themselves again, and now let Meher continue her session on the Skyline which she was showing, and then we would like you to do that part with the data file which we have provided to all of you. Meher, please continue.
Okay, so thank you. So I hope my screen is visible.
Meher, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So in the forenoon session, I was talking about this BSA samples. And then in this refined BSA list, I have imported the 4 different results, raw files, and I was comparing the data across these 4. So as in the bottom panel, we can see the different peak area for these 4 different samples, and we can compare for this particular peptide what is the peak area for these. And before that, peak annotation is an important step because that determines this peak area. So this is how we how we do this peak annotation that should be done. Because this is a refined list, so if you remember in the forenoon session when I had taken the whole first of our BSA and it had around 33 peptides. So suppose those 33 peptide when they run in the mass spec, and after several runs we know now we observe that these particular peptides, they are consistently showing good data and these are reliable for quantification. So finally those are selected. So suppose for BSA these are the 6 peptides that were giving consistent data, so that's why we had selected for BSA these particular peptides. But the actual data in the real scenario, it is when it comes, so it is somewhat different. As I am showing on this screen, say for these set of peptides, this is another data set. So suppose for this set of peptides, around 17 peptides are there, and 2 different samples were run to see how the profile looks in these 2 different samples. So as we can see here, these are only, so for this first peptide, there were so many peptides that were monitored. And we can see that only one transition is there on the screen in one sample, test 1, and in another only 2, but also the intensity is very low, only 120. And so other intensities, other peaks are like even near to 0. So that means this kind of, so this is how the actual data looks, and this is where the refinement comes into play. So this kind of peptide we cannot take forward. So like this peptide, say during refinement we can delete it. And then similarly for the other, so say this peptide is coming in one sample and not in other, and here also some peptides, some transitions are good, but there are some, for example, now coming to this plus, and then we can move down and we can see which peptide, which transition can be deleted. So as we can see, this transition, its intensity is very low, it's around 0. So the one that is selected is shown as red in color. So this one is not good, so it can be deleted. So like this, we have to we can check manually to each transition, going to each of them, and then we can manually check which peak is good and what transitions to be taken for the final run. So like this, we can check for each of like this one. So these one are not good ones, so they can be deleted. So similarly, for example, the next peptide, so looks like this is a good peptide, this can be taken forward. So like this, it has only 3 transitions, somehow good. So this kind of peptide looks like everywhere is nice only. So this kind of peptide cannot be taken forward. So this can be deleted from the final list. And like this, so same for this one also. So this is where this is how we do the refinement for our samples. Yes, so this was a part of like demonstration from my side. And now I hope everybody would have downloaded the Skyline in their own system. So they can try this whatever I had done preparing the transition list, looking at the peptides and transition in their own PC. So to the data set that we had shared, it has 2 different folders. So from the participants, if somebody did not get this link and they have different kind of files, they can talk to me in this meeting. So the folder that is shared with you, it has 2 different folders. So first is preparing transition list, and next is analyzing raw file. So firstly, inside the folder preparing transition list,
participants, we are hoping that you are actually ready and you are doing these steps. In case you are finding any problem, please put in the chat box. If you're not able to download software or not able to do these steps, please do let us know, because this part we want you to do it now. Meher, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want at least 1 or 2 participants to be there, because these steps has to be done by them.
Please keep saying the steps also, we will follow you.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So just yes. So in the folder that I had shared, it has this. In the first folder, it is preparing transition list. It has the BSA FASTA. So firstly, open it in your notepad. So some sequence of BSA should be there.
Yeah.
And then open your Skyline software.
Yes.
Yes, Skyline software you can open. And then go to blank document. And then after that, now we have to insert the FASTA sequence here. So then going to edit and insert FASTA. We can copy the FASTA sequence from the window and then paste it here in the box. After that, check for errors. If there is any error, it will pop up. And everything is fine, then insert. So I hope that you are also on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are seeing that for this protein BSA, under the given setting, whatever are set right now, so there are 33 peptides and 33 precursors and 385 transitions. So we can change the settings. We can go to setting, peptide setting.
Why my list of under the BSA and the peptides lists are not shown?
You just click on the plus on the left corner.
Plus is also not visible.
So is this like the name of the protein is there? Is it there?
Yeah,
Yes.
albumin bovine.
Yes. So okay, then go to peptide, then setting.
Settings.
Peptide setting.
Peptide setting.
Yes. So in under digestion, you just select this enzyme trypsin.
Trypsin.
Yeah.
And missed cleavage. So same setting. Just do the same setting as is shown on the screen. Maximum missed cleavage 0.
Okay.
Background proteome none, because we have not given any background proteome.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in predictions, just check whether you have the same settings.
Predictions.
It's corrected. It is checked in use measured retention times when present.
Oh, that doesn't make a difference because we have not used any written RT peptide or something. Just okay, but just for this time, unclick it because it should be same setting as I am doing. And then under filter, if minimum peptide length is 8 to 20, just keep it as such so that we will be moving with the same like screens, 8 to 20. And then other things are like this. So exclude N-terminal amino acid 25. And inside library, we don't have to, we have not filled anything because library means as in the present, in the like lectures you might have listened what are libraries. So these are basically the shotgun data are from literature or somewhere else. We can put it here so that we can compare it, compare our targeted data with the discovery data. So now you just press OK. So I hope now you will see the peptides.
Yes, now it is visible.
Yeah, because you have not selected the trypsin, you have not done the same setting. That's why. Okay, now it should be 33 peptides in the bottom panel, one protein, 33 peptides, 33 precursor, and 385 transitions. Okay.
No, 106 transitions coming.
Yeah, because yes, I know why it is like that. So there are yes. So because other things are same, peptides and precursors number is same.
Yeah, 1 by 33.
Okay, great. So then that means there is something to do with the transition setting. So go to setting, then transition setting, and just tally it this window with your laptop. So because I have in the prediction tab nothing to be changed. In the filter tab, I have selected precursor charges as 2. So just check. I think probably yours also would be 2 only.
Right, 1 and 2 was different in ion charges.
Okay, yes.
1 minute prediction filter.
Yes, in the filter, precursor charges.
2 and 1 only are there.
Yes, so to the ion charges, make it comma 2.
Yeah.
Now it is 385.
Yes, so ion, yes, ion from ion 3 to last time -3, selected like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now press OK. What happens? So ion type should be Y.
Yeah.
Now so now 385. Try 385.
Yes, right. So for example, if we change our precursor charge, we want that every, so right till now with the current setting. Okay. So with the current setting, we have for each peptide only this. So for each peptide, when we click on plus, so it will show that which precursor we have taken. So it is showing that for this particular peptide DLGEE, we have taken 487 point something mass, and it has +2. So this precursor is it is doubly charged. And if we just keep the precursor on it, it will show other information such as precursor charge is 2, precursor M by Z is this, and precursor and other information is also there. And if we click on this plus, so that means this particular precursor has 4 transitions, that is Y4, Y3, Y4, and Y3. So it should be there in your window as well.
Yeah.
So that means because, and this one precursor is because under the transition setting, we have selected precursor charges with +2 only. And suppose we change it and we want to see our +3 ions as well, +3 precursor charges as well. So we'll select comma 3. So it would be precursor charges 2 and 3 with the ion charges 1 and 2 and ion type Y. So just do the same thing, and we will see that because initially, like till this setting, we had done precursor charge with 2 only, and now we have selected 3 also. And we'll see that is the numbers here on the right side will change.
Yeah, 7770.
770.
Yes, exactly. So now if we click on each amino acid, the plus sign, we'll see that there are 2 different. One is one precursor charge is 487, and with the +3, it is 325. So within each precursor, there would be some transitions like this. So for each of them, there are different transitions. So initially when we are doing some optimization, so because say we don't have any target peptides per se, and we want to optimize our experiment in our own sample, so we take all the proteins and we do this optimization, like keeping while with playing with these parameters. So in first step, we'll keep all of them. So +2, +3. Ion charges possibilities also +1, +2, +3, maybe +3, and B ions as well as Y ions. So in our transition number will increase. And then say in the next step, when we after getting the results, we know that with +2 some results are coming good, with +3 some are coming good. Then the refinement, as I just shown, like some of the transition we don't come good, they need to be deleted. So after that, so suppose finally we with this particular setting, finally we reach to a smaller list where we have only this much number of transition, 385 transition, and we can go for run.
May I ask
So
something?
yes, yes,
Yeah, we have taken only FASTA sequence of the albumin,
yes, yes,
and all these because we have not run yet MS.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
why we are talking about all these transition list and all? Because it was just a FASTA file.
See, in order to run the sample in mass spec, we had to give the instrument some instructions that for this particular peptide we want to monitor, because this is targeted proteomics, right? And see, whatever list we'll give them. So just okay, for the timing, I will just export this transition list to see why we are making all these transition list. Okay. So say we have like decided that we want to monitor these 385 transitions in our in the instrument. So we will export this information as transition list, and selecting whatever instrument we need, we want to run it as a single method, and we want to run it as for 10 minutes. Okay. So it would be okay. And then we'll save it. Yes. So for example, so now save it at some place. Yes. So for example, I have saved the this file as test transition. Test transition list. Okay. So I am saving this transition list as a CSV file in some folder. So I will tell you why this information is required. Yeah. So here is our test transition list. And when we open this file, it has some information. Yes, so see, it has the information such as it has this particular peptide. To run it from 0 time to 10 minutes with the polarity positive, having precursor charge of 487 and product mass of this with the collision energy 17.5. So this particular information then we feed into the instrument, and we create a method using this list, and so that the instrument will monitor only these peptides. See, this is the same in the Excel file. The information is exported to Excel.
So is this a theoretical segmentation?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. It is theoretical only.
What
Scan
instrument
So-
we have to select in the setting?
Sorry. Hello.
What instrument we have to select in the setting? Because for Agilent it is telling me it's wrong setting.
Yes, right. Because we have to select, because right now we are using triple quadrupole Altis. So you have to select, for example, in our lab, we are running triple quadrupole Altis from Thermo. So you have to select Thermo Altis. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So for example, we can see here for the same document, Skyline document is converted to Excel. So for this particular peptide DLGEE, so the same compound is shown here. It has, with the +2 charge, it has a mass of 4 precursor mass 487.73. You can see it is the same mass here.
Right.
And the 4 transition Y4, Y3, Y4 with +2. So it has 560, 431, 280, and 216. So this Excel, this is something to be taken to the instrument, because whatever peptides or transition we are kept here, the same should be run for the sample. So this is why we are making all these transition. So I hope like I have answered your question.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So for example, we have exported that Excel sheet and then imported into the instrument, and we can create a method. Oh, there is some power issue. Okay. So that means in the morning, as I told, that we are running one sample. So for that, one sample should be run across that particular list. So in the instrument, we create a method using this list, and we say to instrument that we want this peptide to be monitored for these 4 transitions only. So this is selected reaction monitoring. Okay. So we get say we get the data, and then we need to refine the data, as I just like few minutes back I have shown. Say after that it is some other data set. So that means, for example, we run the list. So similar kind of data it is. So that say we have run it across 2 different sample, test 1 and test 2, and we'll just browse it down and see what kind of data we had. So after getting the data and importing the results, we see this kind of information. So we'll do it the same for BSA. So just because now I hope you have learned how to make the transition list and how to export. Just export it as transition as the Excel I have just shown. So now another folder is there for your in the document that were shared with you. So just open, in order to open the results, just go to file and open that document. File, open. If you want to save it, so you can just save this file for your reference. Otherwise, it is up to you. You can save this document as a new document, whatever you want to name it. You can say I am giving it as a test document. You can save it as per your will, whatever the data, whatever file name you want to give. So next, I want to show you how to see the data, how to look into the data that were shared with you. You just go to file and go to open. There is another folder that is analyzing raw file that was shared with you. Go to that folder and select the file name BSA refine. Can I get one response at least saying that we have found that file and you're opening this?
Files we have found, but we are yet to save it in some folder, I think.
Okay, yeah. Firstly, the one document that is open there, you can save it somewhere, and then only the next document can be opened.
We can save it anywhere.
Yes, it is up to you, wherever you can locate it, so you can save it.
Yeah, need not to be in Skyline directory for that matter.
Yes, it can be saved anywhere.
All right, looks like many people are doing it, which is good, at least. Meher, can we do it quick now?
Yes. So just open this BSA refined document, and it should have 6 peptides. Yes.
Files are not shown. No files.
So can I move? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Has 6 peptides.
Okay, if you're on this screen, so after that, this is see, after running the instrument, after running our sample, so we had refined, and say we for the BSA we got 6 peptide, good peptide, and then for this we want to import the results. So go to file and then import results. After that, go to the folder where you have saved the folder in which the one that we had shared with you. So probably it will, because the raw file, this document was in that folder, so we'll directly see these files. So there are BSA raw file 1, 2, 3, 4. Just select those and then open. So it will one box will be opened saying to what name you want to give to your file. So select do not remove so that you can see which file it is, and then OK. So now we can see that our results are started importing. I hope everybody is on the same page.
We've got 5 peaks, very sharp.
Okay, so is it similar to the one that is shown in my screen?
No, not like that. Very sharp single peaks, 5 in
Okay,
number.
okay. Yeah, I understood. So it would be something like this.
Not like
Okay.
this. Okay.
Okay, no problem. So just go to view
Hmm.
and then arrange graphs and then
Hmm.
select tiled. So you will see all your sample and on one page, all the raw file, 4 raw file.
Yes.
And then just on any of them, just go move the cursor and press right click and then auto zoom x-axis. And then go to best peak. So that means whatever peak is best as per skyline, it will show you that one. So auto zoom x-axis and then best peak. So I think something like this would be shown for the first peptide. You might have selected the protein from the left window. Just move on to some peptide, any of them. Say for the first one, LVNEK.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now that means for this particular peptide, this is the kind of data that we got after running the sample. So here, because this is the same sample run on different days, so it would have similar kind of data. And mostly our instrument, we use BSA as a kind of quality check sample. So that is run every day with the set of samples. So which shows that, and from this data, we can see that it is a kind of reproducible. And in this peak shape also, it has the similar kind of intensity. In the next step, we can go to view and then peak areas and then replicate comparison. That means for all the samples, so and this window you can drag and you can keep it here. So now you can see easily that for all these 4 samples, we have this peak area. And similarly for the next, it will change accordingly.
The peaks are very small actually.
Okay, if that is the case, then just go to this time window and just zoom at that. Just move the cursor and it will zoom.
Okay.
See, this case is very straightforward. We are talking about a standard protein and very clear peaks are there. Many times you will not have kind of clear peaks. You will have co-illusion and other, very nearby other peaks. So then refinement becomes a problem, and then we have to zoom into the x-axis more. This case is very clear. It is axis retention time. You have the clear peak in all the replicates.
Just still they want to see the peaks in this way. Just zoom because the peak might be like this.
I think it's just matter of making your hand slightly comfortable with these shortcuts.
Right.
She is just dragging it on the x-axis.
Yes. So there are several other things just to brief because time is short.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah. So yes, sir.
Y-axis form.
Sorry, sir.
Y-axis transformation, you can do that as well to make them all uniform.
Yes, sir. Yes. So there is if we right click and then it would be synchronized zooming. If it is unchecked, just check it. That means when we click on one particular like sample, so others will move accordingly. So now everything has same scale. So now we can see all 4 in same scale and we can compare it directly.
That's important. Get your next y-axis in the.
Yes.
मेरे पास भी आपने भेज दिया उसे मार्क्स दे दीजिए हाँ रोहित कुमार का आपने मुझे भेजा
Yeah, like this. So we can compare the peaks across the samples and their peak areas as well. So we can see that although they are comparable, but still there are some differences that are in between the samples for this particular peptide. And similarly, we can check for others as well. And we can also export this data and we can plot it anywhere, for example, in Excel or somewhere. So even we can move to transition, and if we select from here as total, so it will be the total. And the earlier one, it was the individual transition wise, and now it is the total red. That means it is for whole peptide. So this way, different kinds of data can be exported and visualized. Yeah, and I think that ends the session for now. And if you have any queries from till now, so you can put in the chat box. And now next session will be taken by Medha.
Right.
So
no. So we need 2 minutes before Medha comes into the play for Panorama.
okay.
All right, everyone. So you have seen that you can do MRM based work, right? We are also talking to you. PRM could also be very powerful. And conceptually, the difference is in MRM, you're looking at very specific precursors and you are developing transitions for those in MRM. And PRM, you can take actually theoretically any of those precursors and you can do transitions for all of them. In either case, I think there is a good need to have your own library, because then you don't have to rely everything theoretical values as you have seen. If you run the sample in, let's say, QTOF or Orbitrap, then you can acquire that peptide spectral library and you can do that yourself. I'm just showing a couple of small images here to show the comparison which Deep and other students recently did in the lab about looking at the same samples, how they are able to compare in MRM and in PRM. Of course, the peaks will look similar to you, but if you look at the y-axis for the intensity, you can see how much huge intensity you have when you are looking at the PRM for the same peptides, and especially the libraries are very much matching well. So I'm just flashing a couple of more peptides for that. But I would now request Deep to directly show this data in the skyline and show some comparison about need for making our own spectral library and then trying to align that for doing PRM analysis. So Deep, please take over now.
Yes, I am sharing my screen. So I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So before I will show you the difference in the PRM and MRM, I just want to show one slide. Is that what we actually doing is that this is the fragmentation of the peptides, that is the transitions, and this is the intensity. So in PRM or MRM, what we very thoroughly can see is that each transition, which that means the each fragments of the ions, and also the intensity of the each ions, which is, for example, the 775.3 is coming as the highest intensity. This will also reflects over here. The blue color, this particular transition, the blue one will be this one, 775. Then the next rank is 575. Then this one it will be 575. Then 888. This is the rank 3. Then the yellow color over is 883. And this part is only possible when you have a library. So I will just directly go to the skyline and I will show you. So for example, the left hand side is the MRM data and the right hand side is the PRM data. As you can understand that MRM we run pretty short for 10 minutes and PRM is little longer. So as you can see, the retention time of the same peptide is 27.1 whereas 5.1 in the MRM. And this is the one in the right hand side where you can see library match. You are getting the library, right? So I will show now how library is very much useful. For example, let's take this particular peptide of GAPDH. And as you can see, this is the first. So let me show the legend, then it will be easier. So if I click the legend over here, so now as you can see, the first one is the color which is showing over here. Is the purple color. So this is the Y4, as you can see. So Y4 is rank 1 and over here Y4 is this color, and this is the first one it is coming. So it is good that for MRM and PRM both we are getting the first peptide as the first transition as the Y4, right? So now the next one is coming as the blue color. So as you can see, so over here this is Y12, and as you can see this is Y12 is the rank 2. But in MRM, we are not getting as the second ranking peptide as the Y12. So this is a difference that we get when PRM and we compare MRM and PRM. And the reason behind this discrepancy is that for the library, whatever we are using, this is the discovery dataset that has run in the Fusion only. That means the Orbitrap analyzer. And but when we are using this, when we are using MRM, we are using a different analyzer, that is quadrupole. But in PRM we are using the same Orbitrap analyzer. So that is the reason the fragmentation pattern and also the fragmentation intensities are pretty similar what we show over here. So let me show some more. So as you can see in this left hand side, this particular fragmentation pattern which we are getting, and if you see in a side of each transition, it is written rank 2, rank 3. Sorry, sir.
Y-axis transform that to make it same scale, so that.
Yeah, right. So so if I am so if I am synchronizing the zooming, so as you can see over here, just a minute. Yeah. So if I am synchronizing the zooming, so as you can see, you will not able to find this particular peak. Reason is that the MRM and PRM, both the retention times are different. And if I also try to get this peak, which is in 5.6 and 28.5, you will find the intensities are so different. So this particular experiment I did, where I have injected the same amount of peptide and using the same vial, but you can see the library and the PRM data is completely matching in terms of the resolution. It's 10 to the power 6. But if I increase the this particular y-axis, then we can see this particular MRM peak is popping up. So the MRM peak is also good in terms of quality, but in terms of intensity, it is pretty less, though the injection of the samples were same. And in case of the the PRM, we are getting 10 to the power 6. So this is something which we have seen like a very good striking difference that we get in the PRM and MRM. So I will suggest you that if we have discovery data set, it is better to go with PRM. Reason is that it is very easy for us to get the data, and for many cases, for example, few peptides, for example, like this particular peptide we haven't found in the MRM, but we are getting in the PRM. So in that point of view, sometimes PRM works better. As you can see, it is full of noise, though this peptide is not very good, but yeah, this is full of noise. But PRM over here has some has given some amount of peaks, and the reason is that the intensities, because the intensity is so low, it has, if the peak is there, it got hide in the noise, whereas it is, as it is 10 to the power 3, it's somehow getting a peak over here. And the intensity, the increase, it is 10 to the power 6 and 10 to the power 3 is due to the resolution of the analyzer. As we all know that the resolution of Orbitrap is pretty high, right? So this was just an aim to show you that what is the difference in the PRM and MRM peaks are there. And obviously in PRM, I have seen that PRM is very much loyal to the library. The fragmentation patterns and the fragmentation intensities very much matches with the library if you have the library.
All right.
Otherwise,
thank you so much. So this all depends on the availability of the instrumentation, and many things are also based on your choice are based on that. Also, if you can develop your discovery data in Orbitrap, then it's a good idea to try implementing the PRM, because then you can use the same collision energy, same settings pretty much. But we are just giving you a flavor of different options. Of course, MRM is very reliable as well. You just have to optimize your conditions. So in the last few minutes, we are going to touch upon how to you take this data forward from Skyline. And now if you want to go for the publications, you have to upload this data into the server application Panorama, which is also from the same Mike McCaw's group only. And you can read the description of that, which essentially obtained from the LabKey server when you are going to upload your data. And for all the publications, like you take the raw mass data, upload in the Proteome Exchange with the Pride. Likewise, you have to also upload all your targeted data in Panorama and provide reviewers the details. After publication, this will also be published and shared with the community. So this is a very nice integrated platform with the LabKey server, where the Skyline data can be uploaded in Panorama, and then the query could be seen again in Skyline. And how to utilize this again open access resource, Medha from my team is going to give you a very brief demo on that. Medha, please take over now.
Hello, sir. Meher here. So Medha is online, but there is some problem in her laptop. She's trying to connect in a while.
Hello. In the meantime, if anybody has any question, something which we can discuss, or Meher, you want to take over on Panorama?
Professor Sanjeeva,
While
I have a
calculating,
question.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Professor Sanjeeva, I have a question.
Jagtap,
Hello.
yeah, please ask the question. Dr. Jagtap, please ask the question. I can see your hand.
May I ask? Sir.
Yes. Dr. Jagtap first. Can you unmute yourself? Dr. Sharmili Jagtap.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So I tried to import those 4 files in that Skyline while doing that hands-on session, but I could not see those 4 peptides. What could be the reason?
Yeah, somebody else has also the same error. Probably there might be some mistake in the setting. You just go to setting, peptide setting, and then select trypsin as enzyme. So it will then show all the peptides.
That's just matter of playing with the settings. I think, Meher did troubleshooting for Dr. Ankush as well. So same can be tried. Data is all there, just matter of clicking the enzyme. Trypsin, it will then show you all the 4.
Sir, may I ask in the
Dr. Sanjeeva, I have a question.
Yeah.
I just wanted Ankush.
Dr. Ankush, yes, okay.
So there is one question that from a single data set, which is based on shotgun proteomics, means discovery-based approach, can we also go in a single shot? Can we go for targeted approaches also? Means how can we transit if we are using an Orbitrap?
That's right. So you brought a very nice point here for discussion. In fact, that has been the need for, many people thought about why we are doing it 2 times. Why not, do the whole thing at once and utilize that data for even validation as well. So that's where the DIA based methods, especially SWAT and, more of the data independent acquisition methods, they are trying to do the same thing. You can utilize all the data for even targeted based validation as well. So let's take this question again or some more discussion point slightly later. We have 6-7 minutes to go. So Medha is there. Medha, if you can just very briefly give the overview for Panorama. I think that's important for the participants to know how to upload their files in Panorama. So please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So hello everyone. I'll be sharing my presentation now. I hope it is visible. My name is Medha Gayatri. Yeah, thank you, sir. So I'll be taking a brief introduction on Panorama. So you have a lab and you are working on targeted proteomics, and you are rapidly generating a lot of data. So all this data is getting collected and you are you're simultaneously analyzing this data with Skyline software. And all of this data is getting collected in your PC, whichever PC, your PC, your lab mate's PC. Now you want to share your findings with your lab mates or other collaborators. So here the problem is that all your collaborators might not have Skyline. As you know, like here you were also facing a few issues while downloading and installing the software. But we know that the software is very useful for all the analysis, targeted analysis. But for collaborators who are not looking for analysis, just for looking at the results, is there some other platform that we can use rather than downloading the software? And is there some solution like where we can save all the files, where we can keep all the files in an organized format? So for one example would be like you have a protein, you have one marker protein that you want to, that you have looked at in your previous data. You just want to look at the results. But if they are in some PC in the folder, you cannot like go through all of the files, and like that will be too cumbersome. So is there a solution to all of these problems? So we would like to say, yes, there is Panorama for this. So what is Panorama? Panorama is a freely available and open source repository. It is a server-based application and used for targeted mass spectrometric assays. So what it does, it easily integrates into the Skyline-based mass spec workflow. So you have analyzed all the Skyline, you have analyzed all the targeted data using Skyline. Now you can use Panorama. You can upload your data into Panorama, and you can use it for other purposes that we discussed just before. So Panorama is hosted by the LabKey server, and it is a well-known open source bioinformatics data management platform. So what can Panorama do? As we discussed, it helps aggregate all the targeted data, and it can store the Skyline file in the same Skyline data model. So you can view all your results like it would, similar to how it would look in Skyline. And you can also export the result files and export the reports. Then it also makes it easy to search. As I mentioned, if you have one particular protein that you are looking for in all your targeted assays, it can act as a, it can act as a targeted, it can act as a search engine for you. Then it facilitates sharing your files with your collaborators. You can keep your files private or public as you wish. And you can scour through earlier results that you have, earlier experiments that you have already uploaded into Panorama, and it easily integrates with Skyline. So here, like in the schematic, I'm trying to show like how Panorama is actually working. So you have your Skyline files in one PC. Now you upload it into Panorama, and from there you can download it into any other PC that has Skyline. Or if your collaborators, you are sharing your this thing with collaborators, they can actually view it directly on the web UI. They don't need Skyline. And you can also have a look on how your files are looking in the web UI. So we'll just have a demo on how this works, a very short demo. So for example, this is the Panorama website, and I have logged into it using our lab ID, and this is our project. So if you create your own project on Panorama, one project folder will be created for you, under which you can create other new folders. So we'll look at how to create a folder. So here I'll click on new subfolder. Then here you can write any name. So we can say demo, and it is asking what kind of folder type we want to create. So we are going for Panorama folder type, and next. So we'll inherit all the security configurations from the parent folder, which is for, in our case, IIT Bombay Proteomics Lab. Next. And here you can actually tell Panorama which kind of folder you are trying to create. So it can be experimental data, or it can be a library like Deep had explained earlier. We can also create library and upload it into. Anybody having questions? Yeah, so we can also create a library and upload it into Panorama. Then we can create a chromatogram library folder. Currently, we are creating an experimental data folder. So I'll say finish. So here it has created a subfolder called demo. So if, for example, I want to upload a particular Skyline file, I'll go to, I'll open any Skyline file. Just so this is one exemplary Skyline file that I have. It will take some time to open. Just a second. Okay. So this is your Skyline file. You can also open your Skyline files and have a look. So here there is a button. See, it says upload to Panorama. You can either click on this or you can go to file and say upload to Panorama. Now it will look for all the server which you have tried to upload using this PC. So it will take a bit of time depending on your network. Yeah. So it is showing that IIT Bombay Proteomics is where I can upload because I have access to this folder and whichever. So, okay, it's not showing the demo folder, but I'll just upload it. Yeah, it will show here. No, it's not showing. Sorry. So I'll try uploading it in any other folder. And if I click on the folder, it will start getting uploaded. So it will first compress the Skyline file and then it will upload it. So for now, it will take some time. For now, I'll just show any other Skyline file that is already there. So I'll open this particular folder. So here, this is for one particular paper project that we were working on. So here we have put a brief abstract of what the project is all about, and then all the related Skyline files that were related to the project. So like in this way, it is organized. It is there in one place. I just need to come to this folder and I know I'll find all the Skyline files here. So if I want to view one particular Skyline file, I can go to this. I can click on the hyperlink. And you can see this is a BSA QC flow Skyline file. So all the precursors are visible. I can click on one particular precursor. And here I'll be able to see the chromatograms, like how we see it in Skyline. So this first, the one on the left-hand side is actually the precursor chromatogram. And the one on the right-hand side is the chromatogram of all the transitions that were monitored for this particular peptide. So this is for one sample, day 1, you can say day 2, then day 3. So these are all BSAs. Now I like to show one more thing.
Medha, may I request you now that we can give them some exercise to do, and then we can take this thing in more interaction time. So we are now ready for the next session actually.
Yes,
just
sir.
You can close wherever you think is appropriate.
Yes, sir, it's almost done. So if you have this folder and you're looking for one particular protein, so you can just type its a particular protein name here and you can say search. And you can see that it is showing whichever proteins are coming for that particular short that I have written. So this is from the whole database, and it's in our particular folder. We can see that this is there. So here I can click and then I can again see what is the coverage that we have seen for that particular protein. So we have monitored 4 peptides for this protein, Vimentin, and results according to that protein can also be seen. So it's a very interactive platform. You can explore this further. There is a tutorial for this. We'll provide you the link. So sir, you can take forward from here.
All right. Well, thank you, TAs, Meher, Deep, and Medha for giving some hands-on on the Skyline and Panorama. And that actually ends this session. So thank you all the participants for actively participating in this session.